My name's Andrew Brown. I'm the Inclusive Communities Project Officer for City of Onkaparinga. And my role is to support businesses in becoming more inclusive and providing better access. There are a number of people with different abilities and requirements, and businesses would benefit from working to cater towards a diverse range of customers.
Well, I'd like to be greeted, and once I go to a place like if I went to a chemist that I'd like to get greeted to if I needed to be helped to find where the item that I ask for, and yeah, that way, yeah.
Access and inclusion is the process where every person, regardless of age, disability, gender, religion, sexual preference or ethnicity, can access and participate in all aspects of life in the same way as any other person. Disability includes a long-term physical, psychiatric, intellectual or sensory impairment that, in interaction with various barriers, may hinder the person's full and effective participation in the community on an equal basis with others. When talking about improving access, it's easy for people and businesses to think about installing ramps, having accessible toilets, and other accessible fixtures. But there's another way to look at this. You can look at your customer service and look at how your staff are interacting with people. Do they have the right training? The most effective strategy is to treat people in the same way that you would wish to be treated. And then they would become regular customers. We all want to be treated politely, with fairness, respect and consideration.
Hey, I'm Bryony Hoare. I'm the owner and winemaker for Beach Road Wines. I'm based in McLaren Vale in the beautiful part of South Australia. We have a really wide demographic and we tailor our venue accordingly, so we can accommodate, say, the younger groups out for a wine tour for the day, but we can also accommodate family groups. We've worked really hard over the last 6 or 7 years to make the place as accessible and friendly and welcoming to all ages and all types of people who want to come through. It's pretty boring if we're all just one type of person, and being able to have people who might not normally be able to get out or find it maybe can be a bit stressful coming into, say, a social or tourist destination. If we can make it friendly and relaxing, they have a great time. If I see people having a good time, then I'm happy. That's what more can you ask for in life? We've got a lot of our staff have children who have challenges, or in my personal life, my mother has got a lot of hearing problems, and actually a lot of my labels, my wine labels, I changed completely because my parents complained that they couldn't read the writing on the labels. So I made it bigger and clearer and all of those things. And you know, could have chosen to laugh at them. You know, the parents, they're never right, as we know. But on reflection, I want people of my parents' age to buy my wine, and if they can't read the back label, well, what's the point? You know, so I actually consciously made some decisions in that area, and often will bounce that off my mum, who is hard of hearing. So I'm always conscious about noise, and very conscious if we have customers in with, say, older guests, we can put them in a place that is, or locate them in the area where the noise is not so full on, or, you know, it's quieter in certain parts of the restaurant. And we always consider that at all times.
There are simple and small changes that businesses can make to make a very significant difference to someone. My suggestion would be to start small. Start with one thing. Make sure that you have clear access to your reception desk or your cash counter. Make sure that you have the right, easy information for people to understand as they arrive, or on your website. Clearly tell people where you're located and the most accessible way to get there. But start small. Do one thing, and then consolidate on that.
People have to allow everyone in, regardless of race, colour, culture, beliefs, non-beliefs, sexuality, and make it easy for people to get around. Because I haven't had to walk for very long, but it's really hard to get into venues sometimes. That they don't allow for wheels to get up, that there need to be more ramps. I've fallen over with a walker on the footpath because there's little steps in the footpath, it's not level. So yeah, and narrow footpaths, and it's just hard to get around sometimes.
Change is normal. Change is a part of life. It's been a very difficult couple years, and these small acts of kindness are huge, and it snowballs. If there are people who can do these small acts of kindness for others, even when we're doing it tough ourselves, that helps everyone.
Hello, my name is Todd. I've lived in the city of Onkaparinga for 13 years now. I work as a carer. Inclusion to me means somebody who can be themselves, be accepted for who they are, and feel welcomed to a group or to society in general. Basically being accepted and accessible as well. I think it's important for the businesses and tourism operators in the Onkaparinga Council just to be aware of the various or the diverse demographics in this council. Say, for example, the baby boomers, and just be mindful how they cater to those sort of people, how they set up their businesses.
With the difficult time that we're living in, I do understand that businesses find it incredibly difficult to make ends meet, particularly small businesses or small medium enterprises. I'm aware that the feeling might be there, oh, this is just another thing that we're not doing well enough, or another bit of bureaucracy. That is not why we're doing this training session or giving you this information. It's about everyone being versatile and businesses looking at opportunities where they can actually help with their overall bottom line. But the community spirit that comes from everyone working together is something that you just cannot put a price on.
Hi, I'm Georgia. I'm the Community Engagement Facilitator for Mission Australia, who is a partner of the NDIS. We work on behalf of the NDIS within the Southern Adelaide community, and we support people with disability throughout the NDIS pathway. It may be a participant wants to come to your cafe, but they need to bring a support person along with them. Your services have doubled right there. The one piece of advice we would have for businesses is to be appreciative that not all disabilities are visible. So there are a range of disabilities, whether they be physical, whether they be sensory, whether they be autism, whether they be a mental illness. And then also people don't necessarily want to have to identify that they have a disability. Lots of people in the community are on the NDIS and have an NDIS plan, but they don't actually want to have to identify that they do have an NDIS plan or they do have a disability. They want to access a business just like everyone else in the community.
Is there a clear path of travel outdoors to and from entrances and exits? Can your accessible parking be closer to the entrance? Would anyone require assistance with the entrance doors? Is the entrance at street level? If not, can a temporary ramp be used? Is there adequate seating for customers that may be elderly or frail? Do your steps feature contrasting edges or colours to clearly define? Do you offer equipment to the public, such as bins and EFTPOS machines, that are accessible? Example, Braille features. Does your business have accessible emergency exits? Can someone with limited literacy order from the menu and/or read the signage? Do you have safety markings on glass areas at entrances and exits? Does the height of certain furniture enable enough room for mobility aids? Advertise your advantages. Make it easy for new customers to find you. Advertising your accessibility in your normal marketing strategies will attract new customers. If your business is accessible, let people know.
If an organisation is clearly acknowledging people with disability or trying to make their services more accessible, the community talks, it'll be their point of difference. If a business celebrates people with disability, then people with disability will talk to their networks and say, hey, this is a business that I feel comfortable with accessing. So people with disability want to be welcomed into businesses like everyone else in the community. They would like to access a service or support through your business and feel that they had the same experience as anyone else out in the community who doesn't have a disability. The less need to identify that they have a disability with your business means it's more accessible.
One of the most important things that I've learned in life is the power of communication. We need to communicate with people the right way. Sometimes some self-reflection is a really good way to change your business and understand how you can make very simple, cost-effective alterations to appeal to this market. Be aware of the barriers that prevent good access. They can be in the physical surroundings, they can be virtual, and they can also be in people's attitudes.
I like it when people smile and welcome you into their business venue, and it depends on whether it's a restaurant or the food has to be good too. Just customer service, bedside manner and stuff like that.
Well, I'd like to go on day outings and go somewhere for lunch and have fun with the group as well. When I use my walker, I'm hoping that there are ramps that I can use, and then that way it saves me having to lift it up for if there's steps. Yeah.
There are some wonderful practitioners of access and inclusion from a business viewpoint. I encourage you to speak to your colleagues, speak to your fellow businesses, and see what they're doing. There are people that are really hitting the space well. There are some that have put money into it to make large wholesale changes, but there are others that have just tweaked their customer experience. It's important that you build your knowledge base and speak to the people that you deal with every day, the people in your area, the people outside of your area, in order to get your own inspiration and work out things that you can do and things you can apply in your business. So don't assume that someone who doesn't have a physical disability isn't actually requiring access and inclusion needs. There are lots of mental health illnesses, cognitive disabilities, psychosocial disabilities, things that we would not consider. So it's about broadening our own view of what disability and access and inclusion actually is.
Why do you think it's important for businesses to be inclusive?
Oh, just for the well-being of everyone, really. It's if they're not inclusive, there's probably a massive income stream that they're missing out on. There's a lot of disadvantaged people want to get back into the community, and the local businesses are a start. Pete, how long have you lived in the Onkaparinga?
5 years.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, thank you.
Do you like living in the city of Onkapringa?
Fantastic. I really like us here.
What's your favourite thing to do there?
But people,
People?
yeah.